You know, we use dozens of apps every single day without even thinking about what makes them tick. Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the invisible engines that power pretty much everything you do online. We are talking about APIs, the secret sauce that makes our digital world connect so seamlessly. Let's get into it. Just think about it for a second. You pop open an app like Zomato or Uber Eats, and bam, it instantly knows where you are, it shows you all these restaurants with menus that are updated to the minute, and it processes your payment in a snap. How in the world does one single app do all of that? It kind of feels like magic, right? But it's not, well, not exactly. Okay, so let's use a really simple analogy here, ordering food at a restaurant. Everything kicks off with you. You're the customer. You're looking at the menu, and you decide what you want to eat. That decision, right there, that's the first step. That's the request. Now, way in the back, there's a totally separate system, right? The kitchen. It's got all the ingredients, the chefs, the equipment, everything needed to cook your meal. You don't need to know how their oven works or where they keep the salt. You just trust that the kitchen can handle your order. So here's the million-dollar question. You're at your table, the kitchen's way back there. How does your specific order get from you to them? And then, how does the food get from them all the way back to you? There has to be some kind of go-between, doesn't there? Of course, it's the waiter. The waiter is the absolutely crucial link in this whole chain. They take your order, they translate it for the kitchen, and then they bring back exactly what you wanted. This waiter, they're the real hero of our story today. So remember them. And that waiter, that perfect middleman who handles all the back and forth so you don't have to, well, that is exactly what an API is in the digital world. It's your digital waiter. So an API, it stands for Application Programming Interface, which is a bit of a mouthful, I know, is basically that digital waiter. It's a set of rules and tools that lets one software application talk to a completely different one. It takes a request from your app, runs it over to a server, and brings back the response. It's the bridge that makes all these connections possible. So let's go back to that food app. It doesn't actually do all that stuff by itself, not even close. Instead, it uses a whole team of these digital waiters. It calls on one API to talk to a map service to get your location. It uses another API to talk to a secure payment system. And it uses yet another one to send your actual order to the restaurant system. It's really a team of specialists all working together. So why do we do it this way? Why have all these digital waiters running around? Why does the system even exist? Well, because it's an incredibly powerful and efficient way to build modern software. Let's take a look at the benefits. This whole system is so powerful for a few key reasons. First, integration. App developers don't have to build a brand new map or a payment system from scratch for every single app. They can just use an API to plug into one that already exists. This also enables automation and lets apps share data securely. And what that all leads to is incredible efficiency and scalability. It means developers can focus on what makes their app special and just let the APIs handle the heavy lifting. Okay, so if these digital waiters are carrying messages back and forth, what language are they even speaking? It's got to be super complicated, right? Nope, it's actually a very simple, standardized language made up of requests. Really, at its core, this language has 4 basic commands. A GET request is just what it sounds like. Hey, get me this information, like asking to see the menu. A POST request says, add this new information, like when you place a new order. PUT is for updating something that's already there. And delete is, well, you can probably guess that one. It's a really simple, action-based vocabulary. So a full conversation is really just a simple 2-step process. First, there's the request. That's you placing your order. And then comes the response. That's the waiter bringing your food back to the table. It's just a clean, predictable exchange of information. And those status codes we mentioned, think of them as quick updates from the waiter. A code in the 200s, like 200 OK, basically means order up, here you go. A code in the 400s, like the infamous 404 not found, means the waiter came back and said, sorry, we don't have that. And a 500s code, that means something went wrong back in the kitchen. Okay, I know this might still feel a little abstract, so let's make it totally real. You can actually see an API do its thing right now with nothing more than your web browser. Let's see the magic happen. No, seriously, I want you to try this. Open up a new tab in your browser and type in this exact URL. What you're doing is sending a direct GET request to a server. You're basically asking it, hey, can you please get me the information you have for user number 2? Go ahead, give it a shot. And boom, there it is. This is what you should be seeing. This block of text is in a format called JSON, and it's just a standard way to organize data so computers can read it easily. It's the meal delivered by your digital waiter. You can clearly see the ID, the email, the first name, and the last name. You asked for data, and the API delivered it, perfectly structured. How cool is that? So let's wrap this all up. The number one thing to remember is that an API is the digital waiter of the internet. They're not just some technical detail. They are the fundamental building blocks that allow all our different apps to work together, creating these seamless experiences we totally depend on every day. And it all happens through that simple conversation of a request and a response. So here's a final thought for you. The next time you check the weather on your phone, or book a flight, or even log into a website using your Google account, just take a second. Now that you know what you're looking for, can you see those invisible waiters, the APIs, working tirelessly behind the scenes to make it all happen? Because I guarantee you, they're everywhere.